Welcome to tonight's Monday night call, and you might be like, who is this new face? I'm excited to be hosting for you tonight and some of our amazing team in America.
Now, can you just mute
very exciting. So I am going to just make sure everyone is muted firstly. Please, if you can all mute yourself, that would be amazing. And we are going to kick off with some absolutely epic content tonight, all around the tool belt that you need in order to create success. And we have the amazing James Evenden on the call tonight, who is going to be sharing some of his amazing wisdom. So I'm going to read you a little bit. This is actually an awesome bio, and let you find out a little bit more about James before he shares some of his epic content with us. So please just make sure you're muted when you're jumping on. We have some background noise. Cherie, I think it's you. Okay, so join James Evenden as he shares lessons and insights into building a successful business, whatever your chosen field. Studying business at university, James found early on that it was hard to work. Resourcefulness and being goal-focused would always earn results. He also learned it was those that could connect with the customer that would always be the highly valued in any business. And with these mantras, he rose through the ranks of his corporate role to ultimately run large territory for the US-based wine wholesaler. Setting his sights higher, he also started his own business and launched a product that was widely distributed across the USA. As their family grew, James and his beautiful wife, Linda, returned home to Australia, where he began to carve out a new career in the property and finance industry. Long hours, big learning curves, and plenty of hard knocks were the trade-off for financial gains, but it was the freedom Linda had created in building a successful career in MLM that enabled him to have real choice in his life. Retiring from his corporate career 3 years ago, James now works alongside Linda in their business, where he gets to engage his true passion of helping others with health and building their own financial freedom. So, James, welcome to this call. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us. But can you start by kicking off what made you, obviously you'd watched Linda dive into this business, what actually made you, what was the deciding factor? Yeah, because obviously you'd watched for quite a long time. What was that one penny drop for you that made you make a life-changing decision?
Thanks, Mel. That's a great question. Straight to the heart of it. And firstly, just to say, very honoured to be on tonight. And I know that all of you listening in, intelligent, big-hearted people. I'm just here to share some of the things that I've picked up along the way, right? So, you know what? I think that lightning bolts do exist in life. I did have probably a handful of lightning bolt moments that, when I look back, were very pivotal on me taking on board a big identity and a big mission, you know, and a seat, if you will, with Juice Plus. Things were humming along for me. Linda had certainly set a goal and a target that she wanted to effectively out-earn me and give me time, freedom and choice. And that was great, but that was still her plan, right? It was not necessarily my plan. I'd worked damn hard over, 20 plus years to carve out a career. And that career gave me significance. It gave me a lot of connection. I got to travel. I was making great money. So I had all these things going on. And I thought, well, this will be interesting because she's definitely a strong-willed person and love her dearly. But I was like, all right, I wonder when this is going to be the big combo. Like, it's happening. And, you know what, because I wasn't really prepared to leave. But I had such a wake-up call. It's that lightning bolt that I got hit with. And literally in the space of 5 minutes, I found that the role I had such I had no control. I thought I had control. I had the illusion of success, control of all of these things, and I literally had the rug pulled out from under me. Not a deliberate way. I don't think the people that I was working with knew what they were saying, but I was shooting for a big high bonus I'd messaged the owners of the company I was with, if I bring in $1 million of commission this quarter, is there extra money on the table for me? And I didn't get an answer. I'm like, that's a bit weird. And I was seeing them the next day, and then I saw them the next day, and I saw the boss, and I said, hey, the text I sent, the message, how we looking? And he said, you'll need to speak to such and such. I'm like, all right. That would have been an easy answer for you to say yes, but no answer is not a good sign. So anyway, I sort of got fobbed off. We went into our big sales meeting. It was a quarterly sales thing. The whole company was there, and they announced that our bonuses had been changed 3 months previously, and that our manager should have told us. And I'm like, well, I hadn't been told, and that means everything that I'd planned for and the achievements of this quarter and that milestones were not going to happen because they were off the table. And it further hit home that we were told our commissioning structure had changed, and we would still get paid for our work, albeit over the space of probably a 2-year period. And I remember it was like a lightning bolt. I felt like I had Tweeties around my head. I went numb. I couldn't think. I just had to walk out, and I went, oh my God, this has just happened. I'm now on about 40% less money than I had been bringing home, and I couldn't work any harder. And it was such a big lightning bolt for me. I thought, oh my God, what have I bought into?
Wow.
So,
wow.
So it was a lightning bolt like that. And it's funny because as fast as my dreams on that and my vision on that and my dedication and my biased commitment to that and everything I put into it, I couldn't hold it in my hand. It was like sand running through my hands, my will to commit, my ability to get out and work, and the hours I just couldn't even put in, let alone be as active and productive as I was. And what's remarkable was 3 weeks later, I found myself in Nashville. I'd been to conference before in the US. I do remember meeting you in the parking lot of the airport, Mel, and I loved the community there. But what I saw and the people I got to associate with, I saw through a different lens. And I thought, wow, this is it. This is the big game. This is the big game I've always wanted.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So one door closed and very fast another one opened, which is so amazing. And, I really want to gear this call tonight, like you said, right around all the good stuff. All the info that you can share about what does it look like, coming from such a successful background to then kind of forget everything you knew and start a whole new type of business, and the tool belt, I'm going to call it a tool belt tonight, that you needed in order to create success in an industry that you had been a part of, but not necessarily something that you had a business in. So what were some of the things, James, that you needed to stop doing in order to start growing your business and be successful?
You've made that. It's a great question. It's really made me think. And if you had stopped halfway through, I had the answer. And I'll just preface what I had to stop doing with. What's interesting was I saw an immediate transference of skills, right? And I really do believe that everything I had done in the past had led me to a place where a business model like this was something that I could really go after. And and in doing so, I knew I would have a spotlight shined on the dark corners. I knew I would have a mirror there to look into each day. That was going to be, dude, this is up to you, no one else. If you're not making the call, you are not getting the activity. If there's no activity, there's no business. I'd found myself once or twice in roles like that, this is it. It's on you. Get out, because without action, you're not bringing home money. So I saw that, and you know what? I probably had to. So what did I have to stop? I probably had to. I think I probably came into it a little, maybe just with the story that you got this. You got this. Yeah, you've done this before. I'd worked in real estate, and when you start in real estate as a career, there's no leads, there's no nothing. They said go and knock on doors till you find someone who wants to sell. I thought I'd give a big bunch of open homes to go open and meet people and have fun on Saturday. You are like schlepping. You get out there, knock on doors. So, and I've done that, and that was a tough thing. That was a tough gig, a tough career, but I prevailed with that. And so I guess I came in with, a bit of, yep, you got this. This is, this is it. But I had to probably stop that story pretty quickly.
Yeah, 100%. So two of the things that I got was you've got to stop that negative self-talk. Yeah, of maybe like, you had to stop the, what if it doesn't work, or what if, I can't, or, all the normal things that come up, but also stop being fearful of the things that hadn't even happened yet. Quite often we create this story, don't we, in our mind of what we think it's going to look like, and we all of a sudden are fearful of something that hasn't even happened yet.
Yes. Yeah. And to that end, I had to stop. I had to really assess, though, how I was going to do the business too. As I said, I felt that I had a really strong skill set that would transfer to this industry, and I still believe that. I think that many of the skills that we develop, whether it's in working life, parental life, team sport, whatever it is, you get them and you earn them, right? You earn those skills. No one's born with the skill and the ability to have a great conversation and lead someone to a conclusion on something that they may not know about yet, right? It's a skill. You got to hammer out 100 calls. You got to, 1,000 calls, 1,000 door knocks. But it was, I had to just stop and say, buddy, this is day one, new thing. You got no pipeline. You got no, you got no anything really in this. So, stopping the stories.
Yeah, 100%. So what about things in your day-to-day life, James? Did you stop watching TV? Did you stop, there might have been, I know for me, there was a certain group that I needed to stop associating with that were the party people. What were some of the things like that you needed to stop in order to stay focused? Because we do get, the shiny object syndrome. We can quite often get sidetracked with things that aren't, in fact, aligning us with our goals.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I hand on heart, obviously, with Linda as my wife, I feel that I've had such a strong support right in this business. I'm so grateful for that, and I've seen so many NMDs, on stage years before. I was in a place to be up there, and I learned from every one of them, including you. And, I feel so blessed. I really do think I used to joke that I'm the slowest MMD there is, right? Because I've been around it for 7 or 8 years and taken the product for 12. Come on, if I take something for that long and can't have conviction, right, what's up? But I do have that conviction, and I have seen, hope, and belief, in others come from a place where they didn't feel they had it in themselves. I've seen the lessons that Linda's put forward. So I think that moving from that corporate career into this, I had a pretty strong bruise at my back. And, I look at things now in context, and obviously with team, and as I talk to them and see them, I reflect on the tougher days I've had in other careers.
Yeah.
I do truly, I consider this easier than some other things I've done.
It's that choose your hard, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I choose the path of least resistance. This is a business model that will pay you for life as hard as you work it. I'm testament to saying how I've worked in an industry, and 5 years into a job with one company had massive changes. Like I said, that lightning bolt. So I know you're looking for some tools and some things. When I first started in real estate, it was a 60, 70-hour week, right? That was it, 6 days till 7 p.m. I had to leave all my crap at the door, right? There was no TV. There was no, no
maths.
And we were broke. Linda tells the story. It was a financially fearful time. I'd come off quite a fancy lifestyle and career in the US. I had an expense account and all sorts of stuff, and we were back to ground zero with things. So we started from scratch. We've done that. I know the challenges with that, and what I learned from that most of all, no one's listening. No one is listening to your sub story at that point, because Everyone's going through one, been through one, or yet to have one. So, you know, you might get the ear of your parents for 10 minutes, or a sibling, or a one bestie that, you know, enjoys your pity party. But there was no point sort of being moping in that point. So at that career, when we got back here and I started, particularly, you know, no TV. I'd always loved personal development, books, audios, all the rest. So I was pouring into all of that. I'm just trying to, yeah, we did have a TV. It was days before Netflix. Maybe Netflix happened at night. I don't know. We didn't watch much, but we had babies. It was nappies. It was study. It was all of that for years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love how you say, you know, it's all of that for years. It's not all of that for a month or two and voila, off you go. You're ready to be an MD, or you're ready to run a massive corporate business. This is years and years and years of hard work, like you said, that you've put in long before you started on your journey. Yeah, you started to create that tool belt long before you stepped into this role. So tell me, what are some of your daily rituals? I know we are massive about it. We talk about it. You know, we're forever sharing tools and resources on what that looks like. But can you run us through what a day in the morning of James would look like in order to get your day started? Let's say you've got a big promotion ahead of you, you know, and you're wanting to smash it. What are some of those rituals you'd put in place in order to stay focused and keep your head in the game?
Absolutely right. So first one is you're going to know your outcome. I mean, it's knowing your numbers. Knowing your outcome, knowing your numbers. What are you trying to achieve? What are you going to hit here? You know, I'd come from a corporate background, 25 years, where everything was quarterly targets. It was quarterly based. My life was, what's the quarter? Where's the quarter? What day? Where am I at the end? Where am I at? Where am I tracking? And that's, we don't work quarterly in this. Maybe I should start, but it's monthly. So I probably had to readjust to that little, because a month was short. It's like, crap. I sleep at the wheel for 4 days. It's already the 5th. Holy smokes, I've got 25 days. So that's a readjustment, right? If you're not used to targets and goals and cyclical reporting, then you got to. You don't have to, but it's a part of the process on success.
100%.
And whether that is in any business. I've owned my own business. I've run divisions. And I've been in Juice Plus and MLM, it's all the same. What's your target? What do you need to do? What do you need to achieve? How does that look? Where are you at? That's ground zero on it. And then you're breaking it down. And then you're breaking it down from goal, targets, actions, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's important stuff. But I've been a person in every hat I've rolled in every career where I've done a lot of good planning. I know my targets. Oh man, I'm going to get that done. Yep, that's got to happen by that date and this and that. I just know it all. It looks so neat. Your desk is good. You created a spreadsheet. Man, this thing's going to rock. Oh my God, I'm so good at this. It means zip, right? It means zip till you get out and do it.
Mm.
And if one of the greatest gifts that I've been given in this business is the mirror, seeing Linda work and what she's done, which she's not the greatest planner. She's not the greatest target driven and all the rest, but she is the greatest action taker I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Incredibly.
Ready, fire, aim. It's done.
Yeah.
Ready, fire, aim.
Yeah,
and I've seen it in you too, Mel. I know that. I know that. I think I was fortunate. I was never truly challenged as stolen moments in this business. I know it's a term that's not necessarily been mine. It is a little now. Linda's away. We've got 3 kids at school holidays. It's still on. So it's that planning and prep that you've got to have in place. You've got to know your outcome. If that's you to SSC or you to SC or a team you to SDVF or whatever it is, however you're structuring your calls, you've got to know what's the outcome on this call.
Totally. So what about with your days, are you obviously, one would be taking the product, you know, being someone that's living the mission, you know, how is it that you're structuring these things into your day in order to fill up your cup as well? So it might be, you know, your gym, your golf, whatever it is. What are those things that are non-negotiables for you?
To be honest, I'm probably pretty loose on it in terms that I had a year where I joined the golf club. It was so much fun. There was a handful of us guys, and I probably think I'd earned that a little, just coming off the back of, you know, sort of a long stretch with a lot of things. I was pretty crappy at golf, and I was always running late, so it wasn't really my bag. I figure I'll do that when I'm 60-something one day. But you know, it's still for me. You know, I think it's going to revolve around what you value. And how clear you are with those values, and how you know them. You know, I value my health. I value feeling good. I value my family. I value my finances. They're the top. So pretty much 95% of my day is going to be spent on one of those things, or all of them. And you know, whether it's doing, reading, whatever. And the finance part is my business, right? And my health involves my business, and connecting involves my business. And I don't get to have a family without my business, and I don't get to be a connector without my family. So it's really is woven in there. So back to your question or comment around, you know, what are your non-negotiables? How do you structure your day? You know, I'm not letting it slide for more than a day or two without. I know my mental follow-up on who's most prominent in terms of conversations. I keep a big long list, and I'll do that, and I'll pour into that probably every 3 or 4 days. I can probably run 2 or 3 days without going into that, just straight off the messenger and who's there and what's up. And with team, I'll do that too. But I'm going to do that in the morning. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get that done. I'm going to do that ahead of gym or exercise or whatever it is. You know, family comes first because we're up, you got to eat. The little kids, right, they ain't waiting for anyone. So, you know, feed, pack lunch, feed again, get out the door, school, and then, righto, where are we at? Let's breathe, let's look at that. You know, I'm again blessed with being a partner in Linda's business that we get to look at, team spirit and a greater, you know, everything. And she's a you know, got big visions on things, so we'll pour into that for a fair bit, but then it's nuts and bolts.
Totally. So you mentioned your personal development is something that you've poured into for many, many years now. And I know that you and Linda have invested a lot of time in various different coaches and mindset coaches, and you name it, you guys have seen it, been there, done it. Can you tell me what was that one moment for you? Because I know we've all had it. The one moment where you just went, oh, you're kidding me. You know, that penny drop, or maybe it was that shift, or there was just that one thing that happened for you personal development wise. You know, I know for myself, it was one of the MJB programs, and it was just, you know, the penny dropped, and it was those removing the blockages, and the subconscious, all the subconscious things that go on. What was that for you? Do you remember what that was and who you were doing it with?
Is it going to sound bad if I say I don't know if there was just one thing? I think personally, I think it's been for me such a stacking effect for so long. And I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I sort of went to my first Tony Robbins thing pretty reluctantly. You know, it was, I don't know if I got a free ticket or something. We'd done his 30 days of personal power course, and I really liked that. Yeah, Linda she was an insomniac for a little bit there. She was staying up late at night, and all of a sudden these things had turned up on our doorstep. And we're going to do these CDs. I'm like, all right, I can do that. And I liked it. But the thought of going to a course was like, what do you mean? Like, we're going to the pub this weekend. Because I was 20-something living in Melbourne. So, come on, let's get our priorities straight here, honey. But we went, and I mostly enjoyed it. But before I knew, I was like, where's Linda? And she's down the front signing up for the next course. I'm like, huh. Righto. So we had it, you know, so if there was a moment, maybe it was that one. Maybe it was the chat I had with Linda where she said, well, I'm getting on this bus, and I love you, and you don't have to get on the bus. And whatever bus you're on, I'm going to love, but it's like it's going to be a little harder if we're on different buses, James. So, you know, what's it going to take, and what do you need to know? Because she's the master asker, right?
Yeah.
She's the master asker. She is. She's always had that ability and been so wonderful with questions. So she asked me, and I said, I don't know. Well, get me a free ticket, and you know, I don't know what else I sort of said. But before I know it, she's got 2 for 1, and you know, I do remember that. Maybe that was the moment, Mel. And I remember at the time. It's so funny how things will be created from a space where you don't believe they may come. And at the time, we did not have a lot of money. We had just scrimped and saved, and literally coins under the seat in the car, in the back of the couch, and credit cards maxed, done all of that, and got all our money pulled and put it down for a deposit on the first property. And right as all this was going on, and within a real short space of time, that property deal fell through. And we had like 20 grand. And that was everything that we had. And she's saying, you know what, I got such a strong sense on this. And part of me I believed. And part of me thought, you know what, there's a bit more here than I can understand right now. And the fact that we had that money, if we had to go out and find that money for that course, right, and scrimp behind the couch and do all the stuff and Max, maybe it would have been different, but it was like, it's like something's led us to this point. I did believe that. And so I said yes. And I sort of joked with her that she dragged me, but she didn't. I made a choice. And we went. Yeah. And yeah, that was, so if you, maybe there is that moment, maybe now that I'm recanting the story, it was that question from Linda, getting that thing, seeing where belief and things will manifest, and going, you know what, there's too much here to ignore. You'd be a dope, James, so get on board.
Totally.
And that's 2001.
Wow. And that's, you know, if that isn't a smack you in the face kind of moment right there, where it's put your trust in the fact that, you know, the universe has got you back. And in some of those cases, you know, I think we put the obstacles in the way, you know, by saying I don't have the money, or I can't, or, you know, I can't travel because of the kids and blah, blah. But I think it's about that bigger picture, you know, like
always a reason why not.
Nashville, I didn't have the money for Nashville. I had every excuse under the sun, but it was an absolute game changer for business. So, James, what so far has been one of your biggest either face down moments or challenges that caused a face down moment in this business so far? And how did you get out of it?
Yeah, right. I should have pre-thought this one, shouldn't I? Biggest face down. Yeah, listen, I mean, I had an SSC leg evaporate, right? And I was at first, really, I was asleep at the wheel on it. I just, and I remember as it sort of, after it had happened, and it's dawning on me, dude, they're not buying any more product, and there's no one else, one person sort of answering messages. This is an SSC leg. And it was 40 or 50% of my business. And I just remembered going, dude, you're asleep at the wheel. This thing's been happening for 6 months. And it being that a wake-up call for me, it was face down in that it was a big chunk of my business. Right? It was big, and that was financial, and that was all the rest. But, you know, but it made me question, are you as smart as you think? Are you really? You're letting this happen on your watch, because there's no one else to blame. There's no one. And part of me loves it about this business, but Jesus, it's nice to have someone to blame, like good old corporate days. Yeah, wasn't mine, not my territory, right? But yeah, dude, it's yours. And so I remember questioning that, looking at that, and really getting clear and understanding things a whole lot more from that point on.
Mm.
You know, I should have seen it. I should have seen the declines and questioned them harder. I should have said, what's going on? How come these people are qualifying? And, you know, I'm hearing one thing, but I'm sort of seeing a different thing. And so when I look at that, there was a whole jigsaw piece of things going on long before that leg was gone. And it was, and the last person that sort of tapped out on that, you know, it was, I was probably fighting too late, but, you know, that was it. That was a big lesson.
Yeah.
Don't take anything for granted. Be across everything. It's on your watch. Read your reports, understand them, know what's going on, and man, don't think that they've got it or that's all good. Nah, it's mine.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's really important for people to see that across the board, that, you know, it happens to all of us. You know, it happens to all of us. But yeah, you know, understanding what's going on, you know, and like James said, you know, finding those cracks long before they become massive, you know, I think is really important. So moving forward from here, James, what's your vision moving forward? You know, what are some exciting things that you have in the pipeline? We want to know.
Awesome. Yeah, great question. Listen, I'm excited about a lot of stuff. I still feel that I won't say I'm a novice at this, but I'm just truly loving the connection I get with team. And I don't have full gallery view on them. I've probably got some teamies on. I do love you guys. It's true. And I know Alison's on. So I love that part. And, you know, I recently read The Big Leap about 6 months ago or so, and it really got me thinking about my zone of genius. And I think that's in that book. If not, I read another book at the same time that talked about your zone of genius, right? And it's a hard, you know, it's one that you've got to sort of understand. I probably went through a period in this business, and it's pretty easy to sit back and let Linda take the reins and stuff. But I had to be honest on that and say what I love about this is the connection I get with remarkable individuals. I love seeing people rise. I love seeing that. And that's not only my team, that's across the board. In all of Juice Plus, it's a wonderful part of things. So I want more of that. I've had for a long time, I want to help guys with health. It's a want more than a need, though. I don't know if I need to. It's hard to even discuss or talk about. But I wrote a program called the Man Shred, and I had this sus. I'm like, right, guys, we're gonna take control of our health, and we're gonna be, you know, the best versions of ourselves. And from that, we can be best dads, and we're gonna be even better in our jobs and careers, make more money, and everything's gonna be sweet. But it's a one thing to want it. And to think you want that than it is to actually go out and roll it out. And whilst my head is in it, I don't know how hard my heart is in all of that combined. So I've had to rethink all that too, right? And I know that there's a handful of us have written programs and done this, and it's good, but you've got to go and execute on that. So I'm still going through that and finding, well, my voice will be loudest with whatever I believe most strongly in. And so I love working and building the team. I absolutely still love the day-to-day conversations that you get to have with people, and seeing where they can go. And that's strangers, whoever, and just knowing that, hey, I've got something amazingly powerful as a product, as a community, and as a viable financial option for you and your household. So I love that. And I love that about Juice Plus. I joke with Linda, and I said to Linda for so long, I'm like, this is it, right? What else are we going to do? You know, this is it. What else are we going to do in life? Like, we love this. We'll be doing this in 30 years. Why wouldn't we want to be starting up a conversation and seeing where it goes and starting a new teamie and all the rest, right? There's a passion in that. And, so there's those things. Then there's, I've played a supporter role for Linda for, some time to, help, whether it's game plan or bigger picture business visions and those sort of things. I do really love that role. I'm sure that'll continue to expand. I'm also, thinking that the growth of this company and the expansion that we have got on our doorsteps into new markets is something that's going to be exciting. And, you know, I'm tentative to suggest and say, you know, let's go to Malaysia or Singapore or Hong Kong. But I mean, that sort of stuff, that's tempting. You know, it's tempting stuff there to want to, you know, get this onto a, onto at least a regionally global stage, and expand into those markets and do that with, you know, a business plan and, you know, good intentions and the right company backing. And when I think it through logically, I don't see there's no reason that's going to stand in our way. There's no roadblock that can stand in our way from taking on and taking ourselves to Asia and really opening up this company there in a huge way.
That's exciting. That's very exciting. I think we all want to be on your notifications list when that one happens.
So, well, I'll say on that, to this point, you know, I've listened to Jeff Roberti, I've listened to Eric Warre. It's conversations here with people. We build locally, so when the time's right to expand there, that we've got a springboard.
That's exactly
and
right.
And that excites me to do that and to set an intention around that.
Yeah, 100%. So who is one of your mentors inside this business and who is one of your mentors outside of this business?
Geez, I'd say a lot of mentors in this business. I watch and learn, and you know, clearly Linda. It would be hard not to. I learned by osmosis, right? I literally. I mean, she started the business. It was a chair at the end of the dining table in a little 2-bedroom apartment, and then we got a townhouse, and we got a sort of a corner nook. You know, on the landing, and then we got a bigger place and we had an office. But in all of this, she's been there talking on her laptop for the last 10 years, and I've listened to it all. So you know, I still love to listen to her and listen to her trainings, and I've heard them a lot. So there's Linda. Listen, I do inside this business. I don't know if Fraser's inside this business or outside, but I love Fraser. I love Fraser Brooks for the person he is, for his skill set and his intelligence around all of this. And I'll never forget the stare down that Eric Warre gave me, that Ant caught on camera when we did his leadership course. So it'd be pretty hard not to think that Eric Warre is going to play a part in things for me. He's certainly that in a big way.
Yeah. You mentioned Jeff Roberti.
I love Jeff. You know, I love Jeff, and I'd love more of Jeff. I'm not saying I haven't asked for it, so it's not like it's just, you know, who don't want more of Jeff? Right? Jeff's the man. So, you know, he gives me such a strong sense of what's possible when you truly put your limitations and excuses at the door. I mean, here's a guy that built you know, $100 million business with a payphone and a bag of quarters, literally. I mean, so we moan about people don't like my post. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's so Jeff inspires me. I'll say Linda certainly does. I've got a lot of team that inspire me, right? And you know, learning from people like Fraser and seeing that there's good-hearted people that have not only broken through the glass ceiling, but you know, redefined themselves and followed a path where their values are the most important thing. That inspires me. That gives me hope endlessly.
Totally. And I think trying to do this business or any business without a mentor or without somebody that, you know, that really holds that space, whether it's, you know, like you said, inspiration or ideas or, you know, maybe systems that they use, you know, like Fraser or whatever. It's so incredibly important to have those people, because I remember starting this business and people saying you just can't do it alone. So, you know, definitely, James, I think for people to take away from this call tonight, if you don't have a handful of people that you can go and check out what they're doing, whether they're inside this business or out, you're crazy, right? You've got to have those people that you can tap into on the days that it is a bit of a struggle, or on those days where you're not feeling inspired. You have to have those people to be able to tap into and you know, take some inspirational knowledge from them in order to put it into action in your own business. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, I think that, yeah, I feel blessed to have Linda there because I see her doing that. She ups the ante just when I think it's time to rest. She ups the ante. You know, and we take our downtime, but obviously that's, you know, that's inspirational. You know, and obviously, you know, in terms of teachers and you call them mentors. I've never spoken to him, but I'd love to have lunch with Simon Sinek. You know, I mean, what a guy! What a big-hearted, intelligent guy. You know, Tony Robbins have been around his teachings and his course and his people and, you know, his embrace now for, you know, nearly 20 years.
Yeah. Some of those people are just like phenomenal, just even the vibe, right? You click on one of Tony's YouTubes and within 3 or 4 seconds, I don't know about you, but you snapped right out of your funk, and you know, all of a sudden you've got a clear vision of what your day should look like, or your week, or your goals. So those things, tapping into those things are absolutely paramount, I think, you know, moving forward in any situation. So make sure anyone who's on the call, throw some questions in that you might have to ask James. But James, 1 or 2 more before we let you go is, what is your favorite book?
Oh, wow. Favorite book. I've got so many. Favorite book. I love the classic. I love to read. I always have, right? And I do love fiction, and I love the classics. And oh goodness, I don't know. I've got so many. I just, you know, I said Simon Sinek. So Tribe of Mentors is sitting there. Now, I usually keep about half a dozen books on the go at any one time. I'm a slow reader, but I love reading. So one will pop into my head that you know, has had a profound impact. Books would be Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy, Seeds of Greatness by a guy called Dennis Waitley. You know, I love those. I've got dog-eared copies of those. You know, they're just, I reread them.
Totally. So if there was one thing that you would want someone to take away from this call, what would it be?
Oh, well, you know, just find the part of you that's going to do it and just call on that part. You know, I didn't get talked too much about it in there, but the income producing activities is where our day starts and ends, and I've learned that early on in various roles and various careers, and that is it. If it's to be, it's up to me. This business will shine a spotlight on that more than anything. So maybe that's my mantra, Alison Bennett. I like that one. That's it, you know, and there's some days I want to moan and say, oh my God, does it really have to? And oh my God, do I really? And is this really it? Oh my God. But there's the beauty in that, is that, like, hell yeah, whip it on. Step up, whip it on. You know, find it. You've done it before. Find a place, find a space that where you know that you've stepped up and put in before, and then go, well, I can probably make that call, or I could probably follow up that message, or I could probably reach out, because it's really, you know, I've done tougher stuff than this.
100%. So I'm going to recap some of the epic things that we've covered on tonight's call. So we want you to maybe have a think about, when you mentioned some of the things that you might have needed to stop in order to be successful in business, it was stopping that negative self-talk, the worry about the things that haven't even happened yet. Have a plan, have conviction and belief, because no one's listening to your sob story. I absolutely love that, and it is true. Rituals, know your numbers, know your outcome, give yourself targets, break it down. You've got your goals, your targets, your actions. Don't keep being busy. I think we're all bad for that. The scrolling on the Facebook and I've worked 4 hours today, but when you actually map out the high paying activities you've done, maybe not so much. And then plan and prep. That's amazing. Just have a clear vision of what it looks like. Get clear on your values. And this is something that really jumped out for me, is that, many, many times we hear is, live within your values and everything else will fall into place. And it's a little bit hard to kind of believe it's that simple, but it really is, and I found that this business was what actually allowed me to go on that journey. And same with you, James, to work out what those, really important core values are moving forward in the goals that we have now, which is so cool. So you mentioned The Big Leap, which is the book that speaks about what is your zone of genius. Your mentor inside the business, Jeff Roberti, outside would be Fraser and Eric Worre, which are both all absolutely phenomenal humans. And the other book that you said, which was Profound Changes for You, was Maximum Achievement. Is that right? Awesome. And leaving everyone tonight with your mantra is, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. So James, thank you so much for jumping on. It's amazing to be able to hang out with you for a little while and get a little bit of insight into some of the things that maybe some people don't ask you all the time. But we are truly grateful for everything that you do as a leader and everything that you do for Team Spirit as a whole.
All right, you're gorgeous. Thank you. Thanks so much. You're a wonderful interviewer, Mel. I really mean that. And you've asked some great questions that made me think, and that's pretty cool to be able to do that in a space surrounded, with people like this. And, I love that. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
All right, gang. All right.